In this video, we're going to discuss our current climate change. Now, the majority of naysayers will say this is global warming. Well, I think the whole global warming is a crock. This model that you're looking at right now is current, and it is showing the jet stream of the entire globe. And it is set at the equator where the Earth should be. However, if the Earth was slightly tilted a little more, that would be creating the polar vortex that is about to hit the United States. In the next few days, we are going to sustain some very cold temperatures almost overnight. But what I want to show you is the jet stream at the North Pole. And let's just take a quick look at it. I mean, this is the same type of a model that a meteorologist would use. And you can clearly see where this jet stream is going to travel. But what I'm very interested in is what's going on in the Antarctic. If you take a look at this jet stream, you can clearly see that the Antarctic is heating up. Now, my theory on how would this possibly happen? Well, this would possibly happen if our Earth was tilted a little more than it should be, therefore exposing the South Pole to the sun. Now, I'm going to show you something, and this is a video, infrared, of the Earth wobbling. We've discussed the Earth wobble before, and our Earth has been wobbling out of control since 2012, 2013, and the wobble has actually increased. And if you take a look at the video that you're looking at right now, this was a few years ago, and this is infrared showing the Earth during a wobble, and that's very severe, and that can create some very, very severe weather conditions and climate change. Now, this is the Earth wobble chart that has been tracking the Earth wobble since 2013. You can clearly see in yellow, the little yellow dots is when this tracking chart was created. 2014 in the red, 2015 in the blue, and now this year in 2016, our wobble has increased dramatically. And this will definitely create severe weather climate across the entire globe. Now, just the other day, this report came out on CBS News. A chunk of ice the size of India literally fell off of the Antarctica. It just fell off. Now, this happened a few years ago in the North Pole. A chunk of ice the size of the state of Connecticut literally broke off and fell into the sea. If this continues to happen, this will definitely increase ocean levels across the globe. What is causing this? What is causing our Earth to tilt so dramatically that climate change is occurring so quickly? But let's take a listen to this CBS News report.
2016 is now on track to becoming the warmest year on record, and no other place is feeling the effects more collectively than the polar ice caps. Climate scientists have in fact discovered that ice at both ends of our planet is shrinking to ever new lows. This is in fact rather unusual even for this time of year when the amount of ice on the caps is supposed to increase. To discuss it all, we want to bring in Dr. Ari Friedlander. He's an ecologist and associate professor at Oregon State University's Marine Mammal Institute. He joins me now via Skype from Newport, Oregon. And Doctor, I know you have made dozens of trips to Antarctica. You've studied animals there, the climate there. It's really your life. What to make then of these changes we're seeing?
Well, you know, they're very real. The part of the Antarctic that I spent most of my time in, the Antarctic Peninsula, is warming almost more rapidly than any other place on the planet. And the ecosystem that is set up there, basically focused around sea ice, is changing in dramatic ways.
It seems as though every month that passes, I I read a new news story. This is the warmest month on it, the warmest October, the warmest November. This is the warmest year. It seems like this is going to be a story that we read ad infinitum. What impact, first and foremost, what impact are we seeing at the polls as it regards the ice cap itself?
You know, it's sort of a big bank account that the world has of fresh water, and when that starts to melt or that starts to change the volume of ice that's there, it's going to affect the oceans in dramatic ways. A lot of the papers and reports that come out about sea level rise are related to the change of that ice cap into fresh water.
And as the ocean grows, what exponential issues does that then bear with it?
You know, it does a lot for the animals that are endemic to those environments, that are only found in those places. These species are really adapted to very extreme conditions like polar bears and penguins and some of the whales. And as you change the structure of that system very rapidly, those animals simply can't adapt quick enough to those changes. And so we're seeing a lot of differences in the types of animals, the number of animals, and their distributions that we hadn't seen before.
Donald Trump vowed to roll back the Paris climate accords that were reached. What impact would that have?
It's hard to say that it would have a good impact. I can tell you that. I think there's been a lot of scientific work and a lot of credible work to show that these impacts that we as humans are having on these ecosystems are very real. And if we have an opportunity to do something to quell the effects that we have, I think it would be diligent to do that.
It's not.
Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. I'll leave a link to the rest of this CBS News report. But once again, our Earth is out of control in its wobble. You can clearly see that April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. It's continuing. There is absolutely no doubt about it. If you take a look at weather patterns right now, we'll just place the Earth back at its normal equator, where it is supposed to be. But if you take a look around the globe, you take a look at weather patterns that are actually occurring around the globe. It's intense. It's very intense. And the southern port down in the South Pole, just take a look at it. The entire jet stream is surrounding the South Pole, but it is creating absolutely no weather patterns in the South Pole at all. You can clearly see it. This is live. This is what a meteorologist would look at, and you see almost no weather in the South Pole. A chunk of ice the size of India has fallen off of this continent into the ocean. What would cause that? Well, over this past year, with the Earth's wobble so intense, it is my theory that our Earth is actually tilting towards the North Pole. And if you clearly take a look at the North Pole, let's take a look at the weather there. There's hardly any weather in the North Pole. Very little. Naturally, the jet stream is bringing all of this Arctic air straight down into the northern hemisphere of our globe. Take a look at the United States. I just heard that they had snow in Hawaii, Saudi Arabia, Japan. Areas where snowfall would not normally occur, even during this time of year. Yes, it is close to the middle of December. Yes, the weather should be getting cold, but everyone knows our weather patterns have been changing drastically over the past several years. My theory, Planet X, Nibiru, Nemesis, they are at fault, and we are not being told the truth, and we are not being warned.